So this video is going to concentrate on adding and subtracting decimals. The first one that we're going to start off with is a fairly simple version. It has the exact same number of decimal points, that sort of thing. You want to make sure that your columns line up. It's not critical. It's not a necessity. It is going to help you with what you need to do next and where things should go, though. So bear that in mind. Recall that a decimal is nothing more than a fraction whose denominator is a power of 10. So all of the rules of fractions apply to decimals, in a sense. When I'm adding and subtracting fractions, I need common denominators. When I'm adding and subtracting decimals, I need the same same placeholders. So if I have too few decimal places, then I'm going to have to add zeros until they're equal. Now, there's a cheat around this to an extent, but I would not recommend a cheat until you're very good at it. In this particular format, I really don't like it. There's multiple ways of doing this, by the way. But I'm going to go ahead and rewrite these in column format. It just makes it a little bit easier. And again, the same rules are going to apply as did for whole numbers. The only difference is we're going to line up the decimal points. That is primarily a secretarial task. If you don't, you'll still get the same answer, but it might be a little tougher. 8 minus 2 is 6. 3 minus 7 can't do, so I have to borrow from the 2. Now this is still going to give me 13 because there's 10 of these 10 of the hundredths in a tenth. So 13 minus 7 is 6. 1 minus 4 can't do. So this is going to become a 4. That's going to become an 11. And again, for the same reason. There are 10 tenths in 1 1. I wonder why there's not a 1th column. Anyway, so we have 11 minus 4, which is 7. Decimal point. Notice how they all line up nicely? Yeah, that's kind of the reason behind it. And then 4 minus 3 is 1. Now again, you can go ahead and throw this in your calculator, double check it, that sort of thing. By and large, I would get close. So I'm looking at this and saying, well, that's about 5. This is about 3.5. So it's between 3 and 4, which means my answer is going to be between 2 and 1 and 2. All right, that'll work. So anyway, moving on to the next one. Let's try one where we're missing digits. Something like 7.38 minus 6.2. So now I'm missing a digit in the 6.2. I'm still lining up the decimal places, however, or the decimal points, however. So because I'm missing a digit there, I'm going to replace that missing digit with a 0. It doesn't change the value of the number, but it does go ahead and give us the correct number of digits. So now I can go ahead and subtract just like I did before. So this is going to be 8 minus 0 is 8. 3 minus 2 is 1. Decimal point. 7 minus 6 is 1. And that's it. Notice how they always have the same number of decimal points in the answer as the two numbers did? Okay, it's not always going to be true because if your answer ends in a 0, you can go ahead and kind of reduce the number of digits. However, in general, if you include the zeros, that's always going to be true. That's your check. One more. This time we'll add. Let's see. Let us take 6.37 and let's add that to 4.6825. All right. So again, we're missing digits. Wherever you're missing digits, put a 0. There we go. And now I just add like normal. 0 plus 5 is 5. 0 plus 2 is 2. 7 plus 8 is 15. Carry the 1 because we had 10 of these and we can't have more than 9 in the digits, so we carry the 1. And then we have 10 here, so that's going to be a 0. Add the decimal point. Carry the 1 to the next column, even if it goes over the decimal point. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Technically, I should have carried a 1 over here, but it'll be all right. So this would be your answer. Now, the nice thing about decimals is no matter where you are in them, it works exactly the same as with whole numbers. As far as adding and subtracting are concerned, multiplying and dividing starts to get a little funky, starts to smell a little funky. But just keep that in mind. Line up your decimal points. Everything else falls into place just like a whole number. All right, I hope this helps. Take care.